Okay, we're on. Hello, everybody. Can everybody hear me? Can everybody hear me? Huh? How are you? Are you talking? Are you talking? I don't know. Let's see. Okay. I'm gonna make sure we're just. Hey, everybody. We're bear with us. We're doing a check here also.
Oh, okay. We are doing a check.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure.
Okay. Yeah. So I have in the house David Saborio here. So
Hey, what's up,
anyway,
guys?
welcome to podcast 2023, episode 1. And guys, I just want to let you know the reason for these podcasts is I want to raise awareness in the local community, music artists, local venues, local music. Also, we'll be bringing in drum talk, where I'll interview some drummers around the world, mostly the U.S. And believe it or not, gear talk. I might have some studio engineers talk about what you're recording with when you do your songwriting and whatnot. And but if you just joined us, welcome. And again, my name is Paul Piper, PRP Productions, and we are in the studio here. And I'll be human and just say that hopefully we won't have any technical glitches here. So anyway, if anybody can hear me okay, if anything too loud here, let me double check and make sure we're good to go there. And again, so just want to let you know that I have a guest in the house today, Mr. David Saborio, a guitarist extraordinaire.
Yeah.
And wanted to bring him on. He's going to talk about some cool things here, and we've compiled a few questions that I'll be asking him, and he'll answer, right? Yeah. It's all good.
To the best of my knowledge, right? No, just kidding. Yeah. We'll have fun.
But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna bring you on here, Mr. David.
All right.
But anyway, so David Saborio, ladies and gentlemen, and what he brings to the table is some really cool guitar stuff. What can you tell them? What have you played on? What have you done? You've done some stuff, some anime stuff, and
Yes. So I've done most of my work. In fact, I'd say like 80 to 90% of my work has all been covers.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it would be a mix of of course, anime, video game music, or cartoon classics that we grew up with. Dating back from the 70s to the early 2000s. I would do, and they'd all be like guitar remixed renditions. So essentially, like it'd be guitar-driven melodies, a couple cool sounding solos here and there, all metalized or maybe dwindled into a more of a standard rock format. But essentially, that's what most of my work's been, and I've landed quite a few cool gigs as a result, and because who doesn't love to relive nostalgia or entertainment put into a new twist that they're not used to hearing. So that's what I would have to say.
very cool. Yeah, well, like I said, I saw a lot of your stuff on YouTube, and I'm like, whoa, maybe I should use him on my theme song. So, if y'all heard the theme song in the beginning, that was him playing the lead on it.
Oh,
right?
man.
Some cool stuff right there.
Oh, well, that was fun. I was like, as soon as Paul showed me that song, I was like, oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm hearing some Aeolian, some Sean Lane type of vibes. I'm getting some ideas. I'll start off with a nice, catchy sounding melody, and then like the first half, then the second half I'll do like either some fancy shredding or like some cool sounding tapping sequences, And it took me a few takes, and I sent Paul a few different samples, and he said, "Oh, well, I like the first half, Dave. The second half where you're shredding, that's great and all. It's blazing, but I want something more, something more tappy, something that will transition more smoothly from the first half." And I said, "Okay, sure. I think I got the idea," and that's how we came up with the solo, or the end result of the solo.
Very cool. And I had a few questions here that some people were wanting to ask you. And
Okay.
First of all, when did you start playing?
When did I start playing?
Yeah.
Well, when I was just a young boy. No, okay. So I started at the age. I mean, I didn't start that young. I started like I started closer to my adolescent years per se. But but right now I'm about to hit the my 20-year mark of of playing guitar. And and it's been a ride, because my first few years I just start off learning some classical standards and a few rock bops, and then later on I transitioned to the more heavy side, if you will, and then throughout my college years, more in the fusion and jazz, but incorporating everything that I've learned in my previous years as well. So it's a journey, and it's never a dull time frame when in a guitarist's journey.
Very cool. And hold on one second here. So what I'm going to do is and again, we're just making sure everything is working here as far as the technical stuff here. But so as far as another question that I've seen. How would you describe your experience when you first started learning the basics of your instrument?
Okay, and I'm sure everyone can relate who's attempted guitar.
Mm-hmm.
When I first got my my first guitar, I didn't even know how to properly hold the instrument. I was actually holding it the wrong way. I was holding it like this, and I'm not left-handed. I'm actually standard right-handed. So I had to actually learn how to properly hold my instrument, and then once I did, oh gosh, like the tensions that your fingers feel on steel strings, it's not a rootin' tootin' time. I'll tell you that much when you're starting out, and I couldn't even I was struggling with just basic one string note ascensions, just my like the chromatic scale from open 1 2 3 4. And then so you could just imagine how it turned out when I started getting into open position chords, like full open shapes, and scales and basically general rhythmic phrasing. So it was the first few months to the first couple of years was a struggle, but when you're motivated, it just it becomes you just develop that routine where that's the second nature mentality kicks in, and it's, I wouldn't say a walk in the park, but you become used to it, So yeah.
Well, that's awesome. So you're having fun doing it, of course. Yeah.
Oh yes. For the most part, but yes.
I think I feel the same way when I'm on drums. Hopefully, if I'm not too tired. But anyway. Yeah, if the capabilities were here, man, we should do a jam session during this podcast. But nah, better not, man.
Oh, I'm sure the people will love it. But yeah, I'm totally down for that. But we might have something going on in the future. More opportunities.
Yeah. So. And again, I'm going to be doing probably 2 podcasts a month. Because I don't want to burn anybody out. But I have some guests coming in, and some drummers I'm going to be talking to. I'm not at liberty to say any names at this moment in time because I didn't do a lot of finalizing, but I will. And also talking just about a bunch of topics, because I have a lot of people that ask me, what software are you using for recording, and how do you get through some of the glitches that happen? Just little things like that I will bring on a gear specialist or a studio engineer specialist that could answer a lot of those questions.
Yeah.
That that a lot of people are wanting to do. So, so let me ask you this: who were your main guitar influences at the time? Who are your main influences as far as back then, and who are they now?
Okay, so well, back then, guitar influences. I guess that's a good question. So when I first started, at least with rock in the world of rock and roll, I very much admired, the greats like Jimi Hendrix, Eddie Van Halen, or Jimmy Page, Eric Clapton, and this is during my first during the first few years that I started getting into guitar in a more serious manner, but now I would say it's the same. They still influence, but but throughout my career I was introduced to other players who were more on the instrumental side, like Joe Satriani, Steve Vai, Guthrie Govan, and Sean Lane, and there's it saddens me because not a lot of guitar players know that name, Sean Lane, and I think he's one of the most underrated guitarists to ever lived, and to this day he's become like one of my biggest influence into my own style, my own repertoire of playing and practice.
Oh, okay, very cool. Yeah, that'll work. So, were you self-taught, or did you take lessons from instructors?
I did not have it in me to self-teach myself. Like my parents knew that when I was already struggling with holding the guitar and everything, so I automatically got signed up for lessons. And I had some great teachers. They helped guide me. Not through the basics, but I was introduced to some, to a bit of basic theory early on throughout the years, and they've helped me grow a significant deal. I remember my first actual guitar lesson was at a music store in my hometown called Tarpley's Music Store, and I was taught under this guy named David Cox, and he was actually the one who introduced me to Van Halen, Jimi Hendrix, and Jimmy Page. Oh, yeah. I was like, yes. So for the most part, I was taught by several instructors.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think, was I ever taught?
You're the great Paul Piper.
No,
I'm sure you were
No.
a genius when you started.
And if Michelle's listening, just so y'all know, this whole "the" thing, that wasn't my idea. But
Sure, it wasn't. It wasn't your idea. Okay, whatever you say, Paul. I mean, the Paul.
Yeah. But I guess it's working, right, for the promotion parts of it. This is all her idea, guys. All her ideas. And if you're watching, by the way, she might be coming in here.
Oh boy.
To say the word dork while looking at me. Yeah.
And me, I mean, come on. I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. So let's be real here.
Oh no. Wait. Are we both geeks? No.
Hey, listen. I do anime openings and video game music. I mean, there's a lot of geek in me. So I think we're both in a. She's Hell, she kept it singular, so I guess that meant that was you.
Hey y'all, that was Michelle, aka the drummer's wife. Matter of fact, we're gonna bring her in on one of these, and
oh yeah,
she'll critique everybody. Or will she? No.
Well,
Anyway, as far as if we lived on a boulevard, it would be the Wilshire Boulevard. Sorry, that was bad. No. Okay. By the way, I don't have any of my dad jokes with me, but maybe I could remember a few. Wait, hold on. The attendance just dropped.
Oh, hey, you got your tom, you got your hi-hat. You might as well put them.
Wait a minute. No. Okay. By the way, I have some really cool apps that I have, like the Banunska and the Wah Wah Wah, and maybe I should engage him. I don't know.
You can.
But anyway, am I boring anybody yet?
Hey, I'm never bored, but I don't have that. I mean, I'm easily entertained, so I don't know if I speak for everyone else.
I know, right? So I have a question for you. What was some of the greatest advice you received from those instructors you work with, or you were learning from?
Let's see. From those instructors, that is. I remember one, and this is actually from an instructor I had more recently. He said to if no matter what you're doing, as long as you're engaging with your instrument and learning something new, that will count as practice, you know. But if you're not doing anything new and you're just working on something that you already know, that doesn't count as practice, you know. And there's this old saying, which I'm sure that's what he was referencing, was that if you're practicing and sounding good, you're probably practicing the wrong thing, you know. So that was one. But early on, because I'm sure we're talking about my earlier professors, my instructors. One thing he said, and again, this was back when I was like, I think 17 or 18. I had like these big hopes and dreams I was going to be, you know, the next Andy Timmons or Eric Johnson, you know. But what he told me was
Andy, did you hear that?
Yeah, it's like he's a great player. And
Of course.
Yeah, but what he said was,
hold on, I had my mic down. Andy, did you hear that?
I hope you did, Andy. I'm a big fan of yours. Okay, hope I get to, well, you know, meet you someday. No, but what he said was, you need a more than anything, more than wanting to become a rock star, you gotta love your instrument, you know. Because if you set all these big expectations and you just keep dreaming about them, you're just gonna end up getting older filled with disappointment, you know. Love your instrument no matter what happens. Like, practice because you love to play, because you love to perform, because you love to, you know, write because you love to. Okay, like the enjoyment of the instrument has to be there regardless of your situation. And honestly, at this point, I couldn't agree more with what he said. You know, back then I just brushed it off. So, whatever. I'm gonna be famous. You'll see. But no, that's probably one of the greatest, you know, not just musician advice, but life advice I've received.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you have any family members in music?
I have an uncle who's he's a jazz saxophonist, and but aside from that, and he's got his own band named David Chanson, which is I think chanson is Latin for song or something, but he does, but yeah, it's but he does like a lot of mix of like modern fusion and R&B and jazz tunes. But aside from that, I have two younger sisters who were very active in the Catholic Church choir, if that counts, which to me it does. But aside from that, no other family members.
Okay. Well, and I don't. Hold on. See, little things I got to remember here, right? I don't know about you, but I was pretty active in high school as a drummer. Matter of fact, I started early in the music business because my whole family was in it. My mom and dad were in the jingle business, and I think I started using brushes on snare drum when I was 15.
Jeez.
And my dad was the piano player, and my mother was the singer. So I had a pretty good lead in high school as far as musical knowledge, and again, when I went to college, I wanted to go ahead and diversify and just learn it all. So I piano and music theory and jazz improv and a whole bunch of stuff. And the reason why I say this stuff about high school and going through college is because one of the questions that I did see was throughout your time in high school, were you ever known as the cool guitar kid?
Oh. Well, first of all, unlike you, Paul, I didn't come from a huge dynasty, a musical dynasty, you know. So
I was the bottom person on the totem pole, though.
Whatever, I don't believe that for a second. I'm
Matter
sure
of fact, Matter of fact, when I was in the control room, I grew up in the control room all my life, but not as a studio musician. I was always told to don't touch anything. Exactly right. True story.
So pictures, videos, clips, or it didn't happen, you know. But that's hilarious.
But as far as the cool guitar kid, right? That's what you were.
No, not at all. In fact, like very few people knew I actually played guitar. Like throughout high school, except word started coming out like at the end of my junior year, beginning of senior year. You know, because that was when I started taking my instrument with me because I would practice like whenever I had free time, you know, during lunch, during like our 10-minute breaks between classes. I would take that time to just practice whatever tunes I was working on at the time, or some, you know, cool soloing ideas. But and that's when people said, "Oh, David, you played guitar? I did not know that." You know, but junior year, of course. Now throughout senior year, and that was when people knew that I played guitar. But I definitely wasn't the cool guitar kid, and because there were a few other people who were also, you know, guitar players. But on the cool side, well, I'll tell you this. Here's a story. Because in my senior year, when I was in calculus class, I had this professor named Mr. Brewer, and you know, he also knew I played guitar and everything. But one day, like right when we were getting close to our graduation, he said, you know, I'm so proud of each and every one of you guys. A lot of you are going to be lawyers, doctors, businessmen, contractors, whatever. All except David over here. He's probably going to be living out on the streets trying to sell CDs of his bootlegged music. And then everyone looked back at me and laughed. I was like, "Thanks, Mr. Brewer. Thanks." No, but he was joking, of course. He was just he's a very funny guy. He's just got a very you know, into the jugular type of sense of humor. But it's cool. But yeah, I'm definitely not living out on the streets, at least not yet. But when that happens, I'll give him a call saying, "Oh, Mr. Brewer, you were right. It took your prophecy took a bit longer, but you were right." No, but no, the cool guitar kid, no. No.
Not even when you played some cool licks and songs and.
Oh, come on.
What, the girls didn't go nuts on you?
No, the girls wanted to hear like Justin Bieber or NSYNC or Backstreet Boys or whatever, or that, you know, and a lot of the young guitar players would relate, saying, "Oh, can you play Wonderwall by Oasis?" I still don't know that song, and I haven't learned it, but no.
Now, you did attend a prestigious music school to expand your guitar knowledge, right? And experience. Is that correct?
Oh yes, I have. Yeah. Later on, I did indeed. I moved to Boston and attended Berklee College of Music. Okay. Now I'm not gonna say that I got in because I was blackmailing the judges or the people who interviewed me. But, you know, because to get into Berklee, they put you through an interview. First they put you through an audition. Then they interview you, you know. So the audition process, it's really not that bad. You just have to learn to read like some basic sight reading, you know, and it's nothing too complicated. And you got to be able to jam to like 12 or 16 bar blues. Know your chords, know your seventh chords, maybe a couple inversions here and there if they want to throw curveballs at you, but you weren't expected to know that. And of course you get an audition piece of your choosing, and I chose that one little excerpt from that Crossroads movie, you know, Eugene's Trick Bag, as many of you know it.
That was a great movie.
It was, yeah, classic.
And I think it was Steve Vai, right?
Steve Vai and Ralph.
Ralph.
I call him Ralph Macchiato because it just
Ralph
sounds like
Macchio.
Macchio.
Ralph Macchio?
I like to call him Ralph Macchiato because it just sounds more interesting. But no, it's Ralph
Macchiato.
But
like as in Rocchiano's Pizza, right?
Or macchiato, like a caramel macchiato from Starbucks.
Macchiato.
Yeah.
That's funny.
But yeah, but my chosen piece was Paganini's Fifth Caprice, but it's the short version. There is, like, the actual Fifth Caprice is like it's a lot longer. It's 6 minutes. There's a whole lot more violin action going on. What Steve Vai did in the movie was just shorter and in a sense simplified, but also with some cool little guitar altercations added to it. And yeah, but the judges seemed pretty impressed. At least that's what I hoped. But when I went into the interview, I think that's probably what got them, because the judge, the guy who was interviewing me, he asked me, okay, so why do you want to attend Berklee? And I said, well, number one, it's been my dream school for quite a while, and a lot of my favorite guitar and musical influences attended there, and also because if I don't get in, I'm just going to keep applying. So if I don't make it this year, I'll come back the next year, and the next year, and the next year, and the next year. So he was like, okay, let's just get this over with, and give him his 4 years so he can be out of our hair. Not, I'm joking, but it's just my little fan theory. But yes, Berklee College of Music, definitely a prestigious music school and an enlightening experience, to say the least.
Very cool. Well, let me ask you, which of the Berklee professors influenced you the most throughout your time there?
Okay.
You probably had a few, I bet.
I had a few. I had a bunch of great professors, great guitar instructors. And I've had a couple who I can't say I've really gelled with properly, but regardless, I think my top four would be. I'll start off with the one and only, the guitar shred lord, Joe Stump. Yeah, that guy. This guy's a really big deal. For those of you who don't know, he's performed with Alcatraz, which is the same band that worked with Steve Vai, Yngwie Malmsteen. Like, he was basically the replacement. But the thing I loved about Joe, like, aside from being the great shred lord of and the king of neoclassical metal, was that he was also the mastermind expertise of harmonic minor. And I definitely got that bit drilled into me quite a bit for a few semesters, and ever since then I was like, wow, I love harmonic minor. I'm going to use that in like every solo I can, but yeah, Joe Stump. And then I had this other guy who I consider him as the tapping wizard, Don Lappin. He's been a huge influence in like my tapping style of playing. Some of you might hear some similarities between me and him, but he's obviously the king of tapping, and multi-finger tapping. And then I've also had another professor named Scott Terulli. That guy's a mix of like rock, metal, jazz, fusion. That guy was like the complete package. And now with him, oh boy, he was actually my first guitar professor, and he definitely threw me in the ringer on my first lesson. But he's a nice guy. He's a very nice guy. But I might have been a little bit overconfident when I first started, with lessons with him. He said, "Okay, well, so Dave, let's just start easy. Can you play me all your major chords in open position?" I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not? C major, G major, etc., etc." It's like, "Cool. Now, can you play me their first and second inversions in triad form, closed or open voicings?" I said, "Wait, what? Closed voicings, open voicings? What do I have to sing them? Because voicings, voicings, singing, I didn't I knew basic music theory, but the thing is, I didn't know like the main general." Essentials of it, and to top it off, and believe me, a lot of people are gonna realize how much over my head I was when I didn't even know the notes on the fretboard of my guitar at all. Like, I just knew my open strings and maybe, okay, first fret on my E strings are F and third fret G, but I did not know my fretboard notes, So you could just imagine how embarrassing that was. But no, I learned a great deal, and I started to know other ways to properly voice chords, like other other positions to utilize them. Better methods for phrasing and soloing and of course scales. So and there's a whole lot more, but I don't want to go on any more tangents about that. But those four instructors, three instructors, those three instructors were what helped influence me a great deal in my Berklee journey.
Oh, okay. Do you still keep in touch with your instructors?
Joe Stump, yes,
Yeah.
and Scott Cerulli, only during the holidays when I go visit in Boston. But I do keep. But I will message my instructors from time to time, telling them, hey, I'm gonna be in Boston. Let's go out for a drink or something, and that's usually how it is. And
Very cool.
but I'm me being as I am, like at least especially during Christmas time, I'll come by and be like, hey Joe, here's a $100 Morton's gift card. Hey Scott, here's this $80 bag worth of imported coffee from Ecuador or Costa Rica or something. I try to just give them little tokens of thank yous for everything they've done in my guitar journey.
That's awesome. We actually have a question from a comment in the room here.
Oh boy, great!
First of all, LaBelle DeBlue, she's one of our big followers in the local music industry, and
okay.
She's a wonderful person. And first of all, she said, "Wonderful, very impressive."
Oh well, thank you.
But question she was asking, who were some of your influential musicians, like people you follow, or
oh, okay,
is that what you mean, LaBelle?
Influential.
Yeah.
When did she ask that question? Was that recent or was that?
Yeah, this might have been a few minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah, sorry, I'm still getting up with the technology here to go back and forth here to make sure everything's working.
Okay, so aside from the guitar players that I mentioned, Joe Satriani, Eddie Van Halen, Sean Lane, Guthrie Govan, I guess if she means if she still means like guitar influences or people who influence like what I do now, like anime music or gaming music, I would like modern, like the more modern type of artist. It would be like guitar player like Sid Ui, who's like he's very well known for doing like not anime covers, but he like his music sounds like that you hear in anime openings or soundtracks, and whenever I do my own interpretation of these covers, I try to make them sound not quite like his, but I'll implement some of the things he does into it. Like I don't try to copy him. I just try to steal a few tidbits. Now, general musicians that aren't guitar players. Let's see. Okay. Wow.
As far as anybody like currently, or
yeah, currently, that's a good question. Like current musical artists. Okay, yeah. So there's a few jazz musicians. Like there's this this jazz saxophonist named Joe Henderson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I listen to some of his work like whenever I drive to and from work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd say it's like. I wouldn't say he's like a big influence, but like some of the ideas that he comes up with, like from his song "Black Narcissus," I try to incorporate some of those like those melodic ideas from his sax playing that's really hard to do on guitar, but I try to do that nonetheless, for my own for my own melodic ideas whenever I'm thinking of like, oh, this would be a cool little melodic motif, so to speak. But I've listed all my general music influences for the most part. So That he was the only one that's like extra.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, looks like the drummer's wife just chimed in,
Oh boy.
and she says LaBelle de Blue probably knows, all caps,
Mhm.
most of your influences, David. LOL.
Most of my influences. Oh.
You know, like your guitar guys.
Oh, okay, good. So yeah, well, again, Joe Satriani, Steve
Yeah.
Vai, Guthrie Govan, Sean Lane. I hope you know who Sean Lane is, because
Sunday.
yeah.
Excuse me. Sorry about that. I'll tell you what, a good portion of your gigs that you perform are at either Comic-Cons or anime conventions. What's that like? Because
Well,
I know a lot of people that ask that.
Well, a good portion of the big gigs, yes, of the big gigs, yes, they're anime or conventions or Comic Cons, yes. But I wouldn't say they're most of the gigs. I usually do like smaller shows like bars, coffee shops, not homemade venues, but small type of venues. But yes, the majority of the big shows I've done are Comic Cons and anime cons, because I offer what they're essentially looking for, covers of their nostalgia or soundtrack renditions of the big thing that they're watching. And so, but what's it like? Well, this is what I do like about performing at anime conventions and Comic Cons. Is that these people, they're not used to seeing a guitar player shred on stage, and especially shredding over songs that they really, really die for, like these My Hero Academia fans, Demon Slayer fanatics, or Attack on Titan fans. They when they hear me play like the openings from those shows, they go nuts, and even more so because it's on a guitar, and a lot of them have this little thought in the back of their minds, thinking maybe I want to play guitar, or guitar is a cool instrument. It would be cool to learn it, but beforehand. But when they see someone like me playing on it, it brings it out of them, because I've had like a lot of Comic-Con and Anime Con attendees come up to me saying, dude, you make me want to learn to play guitar like so bad. Like, I want to be able to do what you're doing. And I was like, no, you do not want to do what I do. Believe me. No, it's a joke. But yeah, it's rewarding, because it's not like you're performing at those at some other shows or concerts where there's like a good portion of the people who attend are other musicians, and they're just here to either watch you, observe you, judge you, Right. But when you have people who are just how would I say, just very happy attendees or fans, they will appreciate what you have to offer. Granted, if you do a good job presenting it, I've had my bad gigs before, so I can't hide that. But
right.
But yeah.
Well, that's cool. Very cool. Michelle chimed in again.
Oh,
I think I understand what Michelle meant. She said, you remember when I said LaBelle knows some of your influence? Michelle says, as in knows them personally, as hang out with them. So if you don't know anything about LaBelle, if you're watching LaBelle, a lot of people know her, and she knows a lot of people. She's in the big game.
Oh,
right?
Shoot.
So,
well, LaBelle, I'm sorry if I seemed kind of rude. I mean, I wasn't, but So.
LaBelle, are you listening?
Oh, that's awesome. Well, that's great. So she knows Eric Johnson, Andy Timmons, and all those people too.
Of course, too. Yeah.
Holy smokes! Well, all right.
Here's another question. What kind of equipment do you use when you perform? What about the stuff that you use when you record as well?
Okay. Okay. So back in the day, back in the olden days, well, 10-4, no. Oh,
10-4.
10-4. I meant, four score. 10-4.
Hold on, where's the edit button?
Yeah, right. Yeah. Take that out, please. Okay.
Everybody knows it's 4 score.
65 years in the past.
65 years.
But okay, so
Oh man.
when I first started my first early gigs, at the time I would go overboard because I've never. When I performed live, I had this thought saying, "Wow, this is going to be my first gig. I'm so excited!" And I would I would overkill. I'd bring in my giant Line 6 Bogner half stack, which is it's a beautiful piece of work. I still have it, but it's so heavy to carry around or drag around, because it's a the head is it's a tube head, and then I have this big this big speaker that goes under it that it plugs into with 4 different Celestion what do you call horns in there, but that's what I would use for my guitar. But aside from that, I would bring 3 different laptops, one as my main computer and 2 backups in case anything happened, and 10 different guitar cables, 6 guitars. I did go overboard, and this is only for a gig that I'd be performing for only 30 minutes, or 40 if that. So earlier, that's what I used, but now I simplified everything, and as you said, using the method works smarter, not harder. So what I do now, I just take 2 guitars, an extra set of strings in case anything happens, and I'll take my my miniature MacBook and my Native Instrument Complete 6 audio interface, and with that, it just plugs in directly to the stage left and right front of house monitors, and so it'll be playing the backing tracks along with my guitar tone, because my guitar tone will also comes from the computer, because I run it through just a still session of Logic Pro with some plugins that I use called Guitar Rig 5, and it's funny because when we did that opening for your podcast, this one guy said that my playing sounded a lot like Steve Vai and Andy Timmons.
Oh, yeah,
well, the Steve Vai portion, I was actually using a preset from Guitar Rig called Steve Vai's "For the Love of God," and so so I'd say he was actually half right about that, because I was actually using Steve Vai's tone on that, and that's usually the tone the type of preset I use for recording and gigging. So and again, I don't want to go on a huge rant, but I will say this: after I perform, people tell me, "Dude, how do you your guitar playing sounds so good? You're not using an amp, you're not using a pedal board. What the heck are you using?" I said, "All from my laptop, baby. I'm just using my my DAW with my guitar presets. That's all I need."
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the simpler is better, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because I got to tell this quick story. When I was younger, and I was taking drum lessons from a fellow by the name of Henry Oxtell, North Texas professor, drummer extraordinaire, drum instructor extraordinaire, and he taught me when I was just a little guy. And because of his affiliation with my parents, he was able to come over and teach me kind of early when I was, 10 or 11 years old, maybe earlier than that. And one of the things I can't forget, I think he said to me, if you want your phone to ring, learn every drum style you can. And I did. And another thing he said is, as far as going back to the gear thing, I had this double bass Pearl export kit with a gong. I had 3 rototoms, and I think they were cymbals. They might have been trash can lids from the alley. I don't know. But one of the things he says, you need to get real cymbals. And secondly, when you start working, you're not going to want to carry all this stuff around. I'm like, oh, yes, I am. I love all this stuff. I'm going to have fun with it. And about 8 or 10 years later, I'm doing a grand opening at a Whole Foods market with a friend of mine's jazz trio. I had a kick, snare drum, ride cymbal, and hi-hat. And who walks in the front door is my old drum teacher, Henry Oxtell. And he literally, I haven't seen him in years, right? He walks in front of my drum set and he gives me this look and he kind of goes, and that's all he had to say.
It was definitely an I told you so moment.
Yeah. But I was able to get that big drum set all in a Volkswagen Rabbit.
What the?
Hold on. Where's the edit? Where's the edit button? What you were gonna say? What to forget, right?
Yeah. I wasn't gonna. No, there's no cursing here.
Kids, hold your ears. No. Wait, did I hear that? Hold on.
No, but no, that's insane. Gosh.
So what's the hardest song you ever learned?
Oh, well, there's no right answer to that really, because it's like because as a musician you just try you just try to pursue like the next big thing or the next obstacle, so to speak. Like if you asked me that question like 2 years ago or 3 years ago, it would have been that famous Moonlight Sonata third movement by Beethoven on guitar. Yeah, that was a whole madness of arpeggios and multi-tapping goodness right there. But and if you ask me that question like 5-6 years ago, it would have been maybe Through the Fire and the Flames by Dragon Force, at least in the speed metal or power metal genre. Right now, I think the hardest song I'm working on now is Waves by Guthrie Govan, and I'm actually trying to learn it from his album version, because when the main hook, the main melody, the dee 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 dee, like that's like he does that live like throughout the whole thing, but like the solos that come after it, it's all improv when he's performing live, But I really liked the one he recorded in his studio, so I've been trying my best to learn as much as I could from it by ear, because I couldn't find any any actual transcriptions or like sheet music or even tabs, So I've just been trying to go at it by ear, but I mean I for the most part I finished learning most of it, except I'm at the last bit of the final solo. But right now I'd say that's probably the hardest song I'm learning on, even though hardest is so broad, abstract, but that's the best way I could answer that,
Okay. Well, we have another question from LaBelle.
Okay.
Let's see if I can. LaBelle, let me see if I can ask this correctly. How do you connect ? Do you find them? I guess she means your influences. Is that what you mean, LaBelle? Do they find you at the conventions? Are you registered with the Library of Congress? Steve and Eddie are great slayers. Do you know any of the illustrative artists? Sorry, it's hard to see the print here.
So, like when she says, "Do I find them or do they find me?" Is she talking about like the conventions that I perform at?
Yeah, LaBelle, do you mean if they come to the conventions he's working at? Is that what you're asking? Anyway, but anyway, while she's finalizing that, I'm trying to see if there's. Let's see now. Oh, let me think here. You were doing remixes on YouTube some time ago, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, and are you going to get back into doing that in the future? Or?
I mean, okay. The brief answer is yes. The thing is, I'm at the moment I can't really do much right now with my YouTube, but I have no intention of abandoning my channel or my content. I do plan on continuing. It's just right now I'm kind of I can't really do anything new at the moment, but I'm not the type of person that says, "Oh, I got new content coming up. Oh, hey, I got some new music coming out," because that's just going to hype the audience for nothing, All I can say is, I mean, yes, it'll happen. I just it's just going to be a bit of a while, but I have no intention of quitting doing content. I mean, yeah, and again, not gonna get anyone's hopes up and just instantly smash them down, or when they realize, oh well, he's just hyped us up for nothing. But yeah, it'll happen. Just give me some time, you know.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
And LaBelle just responded yes. So again, let me ask the question again. How do you connect? I guess what she means is if you're at the Comic-Con or you're at the events, do people see you on YouTube or do they come to you? Are you, again, registered with the Library of Congress? I guess that means like a copyright songs artist page or an artist deal. And then she said that Steve and Eddie are great slayers, as they say, right?
Oh, guitar. Yeah, that's the guitar players. Yeah.
Steve Vai, Eddie Van Halen.
Yeah.
And again, do you know any of the illustrative artists? I think, am I saying that right, LaBelle? Illustrative artist.
Illustrative artists. Honestly, I don't know.
I guess
what.
personal or personally. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I definitely don't know Steve Vai personally. Don't know Joe. I've seen their shows. I've been to their concerts, but I've never, talked to them. But for the cons connections, some of them they find me. Some of them I'll reach out because sometimes I'm just whenever I'm looking for gig work.
Illustrative artist, any of the, Stephanie. So we can mention Stephanie.
Oh,
Right, so I apologize, LaBelle. That was the drummer's wife coming in to correct me.
the drummer's wife. Yeah.
It's hard to see the print from up here. It's called Getting Old. And illustrative artist. Thank you, LaBelle. Or thank you, Michelle. And thank you, LaBelle. Illustrative artist.
No, I don't.
Okay.
Illustrative artist, I don't know. So no, but the Comic Cons, yes, some of them do find me, and some of them I'll just I'd be one, I'll be looking. I wonder if there's any other conventions going on in the area of Dallas or somewhere nearby, and then I'll contact them saying, hey, would you guys like to have me as a musical guest? Here's my work. Here's a link. Here's all my here's a link to my channel. You can see all my content from there. And then it's like a 50-50. Sometimes they'll respond and say, yeah, we would love to have you. What's your commission request? Or the other 50 would be like, we're booked. Sorry, can't do anything.
I got you.
Yeah, and also for the what was the library question again?
Library of Congress.
Oh, so to get my work copyrighted. Well, the thing is, I do covers, so I can't really. I don't. So no. I don't. I can't. I don't own. I don't really own these songs. I just make metal renditions of them. So I can't. There's nothing I can do for there. I can only showcase them and present them and that's it. For original music. Now, if it were original music, then that would be a different story. But at the moment, I've got nothing.
Okay. LaBelle added that the Comic-Con artist wants you. So, is that what I read right, LaBelle? That means that you're famous, I guess, right?
No. No. LaBelle, you got to be pulling my leg. What Comic-Con artist? I don't know any Comic-Con artist. Who? Wait, who? And besides, I've only performed at how many Comic-Cons have I performed? I performed at San Angelo Comic-Con, which was about a month ago, but that was because it was in my hometown, So the people there, they knew me and they said, "Hey, how about coming in, making this an epic thing by coming to your hometown and performing there?" And it was I don't want to rant about that, but yeah, the San Angelo Comic Con that was the thing, and then there was this thing in Lubbock called Hub City Comic Con. So those were like the top two big Comic Cons I've done.
Okay. So, you know what? Michelle just put my name in all caps and did one of these things. So, Michelle, come in here. What do you mean?
Oh, no.
Uh-oh, what did we say?
Did I say something bad?
No, she's probably talking about me.
No, it's probably me.
I thought I was just reading what LaBelle said. Okay. Greg Hargrove, how you doing? Here's a super cool guy. Ask him about his mad two-stepping skills.
No.
Yeah.
Oh no! No! I know what he means. Oh gosh. Okay, this has nothing to do with.
No, Greg's question. I was saying, look at Greg's question.
Yes, we just did.
Oh, did you? Okay. There's a delay.
Oh gosh.
Yeah,
I don't want to answer that.
No, I thought it was great.
Why? What did I miss something?
I'll tell you. I'll
Okay.
tell him. But it's not a guitar question.
Say hello to the camera, Michelle.
I-
No.
Here she is.
Hi.
Yeah. Or Michelle, do you want to tell it, or do you want me to tell it?
No, you tell it.
Oh boy. Okay, the two-stepping thing. Oh, this is so embarrassing. Okay, again, I was never the cool guitar kid, and now you guys are gonna get a good laugh at my expense. Okay, so
Okay, Greg. To be fair, Greg says he's a super cool guy. Talking about you.
okay.
Ask him about his mad two-stepping skills.
Matt two-stepping. Well, thank you, Greg. I'm not cool, but thank you. Okay, so here we go. Quick story time. So Greg, the guy who just asked me the question, he had a gig with the drummer's wife, Michelle. She was the percussionist. Greg was the vocalist and the guitar player, along with
Bander.
yeah, Mark. What was his name?
Mark Bander.
Mark Bander. Mark Bander was the lead guitar player. So what happened was they had a gig, and it was at this place called Bold's Barbecue. And me being a sucker for for some good beef ribs or barbecue sandwiches, I went there. But of course to support Michelle and Greg and everyone else for some good music. So, anyways, it was late. They were performing for 3 hours from 5 to 8, and I went there to support my friends and have a good time and enjoy some classic country, southern rock, some blues, and so forth. But like around later during the set, it was like around 6:30 or 7 p.m. What happened was there was this young lady here. I think she was like 22, 23, 24 maybe, or I don't know, but she
was very drunk.
Yes, she was, and she wasn't wearing much. I will say that she had a coat, but when she took it off, there was a lot of her skin was exposed. And she brought her daughter. At least it looked like her daughter. It was like she was like, and
It was her friend's daughter, actually.
her friend's daughter. Oh, okay. It was her friend's daughter.
Yeah, baby. It was like a 2-year-old.
Yeah. Oh, a 2-year-old. Yeah. So.
You're on the air.
So what happened was, I was just enjoying the music, and then she walks over to Greg, asks for a request song. I don't know what it was, but it was some kind of I guess it was some two-stepping song. Then she comes up to me and says, "Hey, do you know how to two-step?" I said, "Wait, what? That's a dance, right?" "No, I don't know how to two-step." She said, "Well, I can teach you." I was like, "What? I'm good. I want to say no." And like I told her I want to say no, but I guess I can't really say no to a lady, can I? She said, "No, you cannot." It's like, well, great. And so once her song comes on, she basically pulls me out of my chair, and I'm trying. I don't know how to two-step. I'm a musician, but I don't dance. Okay, so and so she's moving around. She's basically leading me, and I'm like, we're both bumping into other people because it's a small space. And I even hit Greg's guitar. I was like, "Greg, I am so sorry. I'm not the one leading." And I'm hitting and all the spectators they're watching. They're seeing like what a humiliation that turned out.
You know what it was? Honestly, they were having fun. They were dancing.
I was not. I wasn't having fun.
Okay. The spectators were having fun watching them dance. So how's that?
I had this look in my face saying, "Someone please help me. Get me out of this."
I think I actually heard you utter those words a couple of times.
I did. I was like, "Help me, please. I don't want to."
It was fun. It was a lot of fun. Honestly, it was a lot of fun. And by the way, me and this greasy t-shirt, I've got dinner for these guys when they come off the air.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
So I got about 15 pounds of pork roast and
Yes.
mashed potatoes and not steamed broccoli, but roasted broccoli, roasted asparagus.
Mm.
Your favorite roasted veggies, right?
A lot of
I'm
No,
a
he's
meat
the pork.
person.
goodies.
You're the pork.
That's right.
Well, I like beef and meat, but yeah, pork. But yeah, I like pork too. So
I will say this, LaBelle, thank you very much for chiming in. I'm gonna read him what your most recent one. She said, because you guys were talking about the Comic-Con, and she said yes with 2 exclamation points. Connect to the Chicago Comic-Con at the Navy Pier. The movie industry also needs someone like you.
That's right.
So, LaBelle, any help you can give him,
yeah,
we'll have to put you in touch.
yeah, please. I mean, even though I'm honestly just a washed up has been. Let's be real here.
No.
Come on, I'm old news now. we got to get like we got to start getting like younger talent in. So bring in like.
Okay, I will be serious here for a second because David's being very self-deprecating and everything, and yeah, my hair's up, so whatever. But David is he's gonna blush, but he is an incredible guitar teacher. I know because I'm kind of his boss at work, so
She is.
So I book him. If anybody wants guitar lessons from him, you can go online and look. He's got openings. I'm just saying. So there you go.
Thank you.
Are we at liberty to say the website? No.
The
Well,
Well, everybody knows where I work. I
Yeah.
work at the Avalon School of Music, and so does David, and so does Paul. And we're in Wiley. Woohoo! Yeah, I mean, seriously, we have a lot of adult students. If anybody's interested, David also teaches 8-year-old and up. He also teaches beginner piano, but I really would like to have him mainly teach guitar. I'm just throwing that right in there. I'm throwing that he's an incredible guitar teacher. I know because I used to have the studio right next to him, so I could hear him. And we've known David now for, golly, seems like a lot longer than it has, but
Yeah.
August is when I met him, so.
Felt like more like a few years, to be honest.
It does,
now.
it
Yeah.
does. He's family, so.
Thank you.
He really is family for us, so. Anyway, I will get out. I will let you guys do
thank
whatever. Dinner's ready.
Oh boy. Well, let's wrap this up then.
Okay, so I wasn't able to get all the questions,
All right, it's all right. Just pick whichever ones are the most interesting.
but I think Michelle answered a few from people online here.
Mhm.
So let me let's see. What are some of the ones that I have here? Let's see. Because she already talked about the school,
She did.
and
Mentioned my teaching, so we already got that out.
yeah,
of the way.
so I think that covered about the next 2 or 3 questions, right?
Mhm.
Because we were talking about the Avalon School of Music,
Right.
which, by the way, is a phenomenal school, guys.
It is.
And Michelle has done a really bang up job.
No kidding. She's
Yeah.
she's definitely made the school a lot more like a family community. Like when she started working here,
Yeah.
And I don't mean any disrespect to the previous administrator, but Michelle really took it to the next level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think the last number I heard was what, 290 students?
We're almost hitting 300.
300 students now.
Jeez.
Because I think when Michelle first started there, we were what, 215,
Yeah, or like 212 or something.
212? Yeah.
That's
And because of that, we've had to expand the school. We've added what, 2 or 3 more rooms,
yeah.
studios, and if it if it gets any busier, we might have to move next door. Who knows?
Oh boy. Well, that's gonna. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. But hey, I wouldn't mind having a new teaching office. Heck, I'll paint it black, put some panels in, and then decorate it with some some heavy metal walls or something, wallpaper or something.
I'm gonna put a black light in my room with a 3D drum set. that way I can. Well, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
Yeah, I don't either, to be honest. I was just talking.
But let me see if there's any other questions before we wrap this up.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to put your information up. So guys, you can reach David, social media, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. So that's basically what I have here.
That's
and
right.
If you want to just screen capture that, you can catch a lot of his videos on some of those platforms. And if you have any questions, I guess they can contact you from there, right?
Right. Yeah. Of course, I'm always my DMs are open. So just as long as they're not trying to sell me anything, it's like, hey, you want? We noticed you're very active in the anime community. How would you like to have this once in a lifetime quality? I don't know, Dragon Ball Z hoodie or something. Yeah. just don't spam me with fake
Dragon Ball
merch sales.
Z.
Yeah.
By the way, we know a mutual friend, and I think Michelle said to mention her, Stephanie and Aldoni, if you're watching.
Ah, yes.
And good friend Dan Bradford. Y'all did a lot of stuff together on Comic-Con.
Yes, we have. Me and Stephanie. Yeah, our first actual live performance together was at Anime Wonderfest, which it was a lot of fun. It was just super cold because it was like at the in middle of November, and my hands were freezing. I thought they were gonna fall off. I was like, but as throughout my set, I warmed up. But yeah, it was it was an honor to meet Stephanie because I actually grew up watching Dragon Ball Z, the classics, with hearing her as voice of Kid Gohan, Teen Gohan, Kid Goku, so when we both started talking to each other, is it all right if I mention this little funny story?
Go for it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and Stephanie, forgive me, but I'm just gonna speak the truth here. So Michelle, she gave I think she gave Stephanie my number. She gave me her number, but I was like, oh, I don't want to. This is Gohan. This is Goku. I don't want to. I don't want her to think that some nobody's stalking her or anything. Not that I ever would, but so Michelle also gave her my number, and then she called me, but I think I was in the middle of something, and I didn't know who it was. But as soon as I got the voicemail saying, "Hey, David, this is Stephanie Nadomli. I know we're gonna be both at Anime Wonderfest. Was wondering if you wanted to collab together on a couple songs and something." I said, "No kidding." And so I was like, "Okay, I'm gonna try to be funnier and just do like an anime prank, And so I called Stephanie back, after getting her voicemail, and she said she picks up, and then I go, "Hey Gohan, how's it going?" And then she just got so serious. "Who are you? What do you want?" I was like, "Oh, Stephanie, it's David Saborio, the guitar player, the guy you got in contact with." Then her whole demeanor changed. So I was like, "Oh, okay." And then but it was all laughs from there. but yeah, we performed at Anime Wonderfest. We did the ending theme from Dragon Ball, which was Give You Romance. That was a lot of fun. And lots of cool closed voicing movements for your triads. And then we did this one from Yu Yu Hakusho called Sayonara Bye Bye. Oh man, that was blast. It was because it was like a bunch of upbeat strumming, it felt very reggae-esque, So that was fun, and then we performed again at San Angelo Comic-Con, which was nice. We did the same two songs, and I'm hoping we get to continue doing this in the future. Maybe do some new tunes, some original work, but we'll see.
Cool. All right. Well, guys, and by the way, we're gonna bring Stephanie and Dan in here for a podcast.
Oh yeah.
And I think you want to sit in on it.
I do want to sit in on it. I promise I won't make a word. Okay, I'll be quiet as a mouse.
So here's the deal. So Stephanie, I know, travels a lot on the weekend. So I am set up to where we can do pre-tapings. And then we'll just air it on Sunday.
Yeah.
So, but Stephanie, look at your calendar. See if we can make it happen.
Please.
But for future podcasts, again, I'm looking at probably doing 1 to 2, probably 2 a month. And I'm going to be, again, doing drum talk, gear talk, studio talk. We're also going to be doing a local artist to raise awareness of the local artists and supporting local music.
Yeah, and their talent,
Yeah, get out there, guys, and support local music. I will be house drumming at the Forum in Richardson this Wednesday. and maybe I can get David to go with me. I don't know.
Oh well, we'll see. We'll see. You know, it's gonna happen. Believe me. I gotta. You know, because I do.
Yeah, I know.
That's been something I wanted to do too. You know.
Yeah, but anyway, it's all good. You're more than invited. So
Thank you.
But what else was I going to say? I'm not sure. Anyway, get out there, support your local music. And I guess what I'd like to do now is I want to have them hear that theme song again and
Okay.
let them know that, hey, check out the lead guitar part in the middle.
Oh yeah.
All right?
Yeah. Are we showing the video or just the sound?
No, we're just going to do audio.
Okay.
I don't want to bore anybody.
Nah. It's you're not gonna whatever. It's boring.
But yeah, I'm still trying to get ahead of the technology here. So what I'm going to do is just let everybody know again. Stay tuned. I'm going to bringing up some new stuff coming up in the next few weeks, probably a couple weeks. I will need to be on the road for a little bit with Michael Martin Murphy. I think this is going to be the third week of March.
Holy smokes.
And if you guys get a chance, come out to Kessler Theater March 14th. Get your tickets. Doing some cool stuff with him. But anyway, guys, here is the song Walking Tall. We did it all here at the studio. David did a phenomenal job on the guitar parts,
Oh,
and
thank
that's
you.
all I got to say. So y'all take care. And what else was I going to say? Oh, nothing. Bye, y'all.
Peace.